Welcome into KSU Nation, the best K-State and Big 12 podcast out there. I'm Stevie B.
And I am Kenny G.
And we're going to be doing our Big 12 power rankings post week 5. Kenny, I think it's safe to say Oklahoma State is the worst team in the Big 12 right now. I think they're the only team with one win.
We're jumping right in, aren't we?
We're jumping right in, Kenny. People want to tune in and see us get right into the list. I think they have one win on the season against an FCS team. They got beat at home this past weekend by 3 scores by Baylor. They got 70 balled by Oregon. It looked pretty bad against Tulsa. They're not a good football team. I got them number 16.
Yeah, I have them also at number 16 as well.
Okay,
it's a pretty good spot to put them. Just the amount of drama that's going on with that team right now, man. I mean, if I'm a player or a fan of that team, I'm not happy.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. On the flip side, I think could we go to number 1 or should we save that for last? I mean, it's pretty obvious who number 1 is as well.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to go ahead and put number 1 in the K-State for me.
That'd be amazing.
Just kidding.
I got Texas Tech number 1. I'm assuming you do.
Yeah, I mean they had a bye week, but make no mistake about it, their win over Utah was such a dominating performance and really put a stamp on their season thus far. As going on the road to Utah and putting on the performance that they did. I mean, there's not a lot of teams
with a backup quarterback.
With a backup quarterback, that also is amazing. Really just and this team is scary. A lot of teams better look out. And this is kind of weird to say, like Texas Tech has never been in this position before where they're kind of like the head honchos right now. But it's exciting to see. I mean, it's
absolutely
college football, man, at its finest.
And I'll talk more about Texas Tech as we get closer to number 1. Okay. We have a suggestion for who has to be number 15. John says has to be West Virginia. Ask and you shall receive. I do have West Virginia number 15. They looked absolutely awful last weekend. I look like an idiot. I said they would beat Utah, and they got beat. Well, I think it was like 48-14 or something crazy like that. They are terrible. But shout out to West Virginia fans. Shout out to them. Number 2 in the Big 12 last week in terms of attendance, despite their team being pretty bad. You know who the last place team was, Kenny? Just take a guess in terms of attendance.
Was it KU again?
It was KU again. 41,525. Yeah. Iowa State number 1 at 61,500. Then West Virginia, Arizona State, and then K-State in there.
Man, despite the fact that KU's got a pretty decent team, their fan base is doing them no favors by just not showing up. Yeah, they don't care.
I mean, they have art everywhere. they are close to Kansas City. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, they care only about basketball. It's unreal. Yeah, I have West Virginia at 15 as well. I think when you have back-to-back performances like they did, I mean, really just playing their own, like the game of their life against Pitt, but then after that they just haven't shown up to play any more football. I guess their season's done. They do have a lot more games to go, but these last 2 teams right here on our power rankings, I mean, they're basically like gimme games for the rest of the conference.
Absolutely, I agree. For the first time ever, Kenny has told me that he has written down his list for the power ranking. So I want to know, Kenny, so far we have the same 3 spots there. Who is your number 14?
I have UCF at number 14.
So do I.
Yes. I look, they came into Manhattan, and all they have done is just play really, really bad teams up to this point.
I agree.
K-State, did play better, but they were also a bad team, going into the weekend. So you play a bad team and you lose
by double digits.
You are going to be put down a little bit on the power rankings, in my opinion. So, yeah.
They let K-State go up and down the field all day long. K-State was on offense. Outside of 3 plays when UCF was on offense, they looked pretty bad, dude. They really did. Like outside of those 3 plays, They were not good. They turned over the ball 3 times as well. Like you said, man, UCF has played a really easy schedule. Had K-State played that schedule, K-State would probably be 4-0. And that's a whole different topic that I want to talk about later. Talked about it last night in our regular pod, but man, yeah, right. I have UCF number 14 as well. I think the rebuild for Scott Frost is going to take a little bit longer than UCF fans might have thought. Who's your number 13?
Number 13, I have Colorado.
We might have the exact same list, dude.
That would be amazing. I don't know if we do. Colorado, taking an L at home against BYU, kind of highlighting a lot of the issues that we've had, going into the season, not figuring out how to, have a functioning offense, a physical offense. They actually came out and did pretty well right to start. But once they settled down and settled in, they could literally do whatever they wanted. So, shout out to BYU for putting on a good performance. But yeah, Colorado just can't seem to figure it out. We'll see what the rest of the season holds, but this is definitely a huge step back from what they did last year.
I agree.
Season. So yeah.
And we saw, like, you and I saw that in the off season, like Colorado's not going to be as good as Colorado fans think they're going to be. Which, obviously you're either going to be just as good or better or worse. And they're definitely worse. Shout out to them for starting off right, getting up 14-0, showing a lot of poise at home. And the crowd was into it. I think they were right below K-State in terms of attendance, 52,265. Like you said, there was a lot of BYU fans there, but Caden Salter looked pretty good for a little bit there. He did better scrambling, in my opinion, than throwing the ball. I think late in the game, they're down 3, and it was like 3rd and 4, and he is trying to evade pressure, and he loses like 20 yards to make it like 4th and 22 when they had a 3rd and 4, and they're down 3, and they need to, move up and down the field, and they couldn't do it. I think they have a ways to go offensively. Their defense looked better, but I don't think BYU's offense is world beaters either. So
right. I mean, it just seemed like they were a team that had a pretty good game plan going into the game, but then BYU made the adjustments and shut it down. It looked like it just looked like a team that, had a solid game plan, but then once BYU figured it out,
and BYU made a bunch of mistakes as well. Like they probably could have won by more than that, honestly. Okay. Right. Number 12, who you got?
This is where I put K-State at. So not going crazy here, not overreacting on this win, but I definitely believe with confidence, I believe K-State can win against every team that's below them. And, lo and behold, we actually played 2 of these teams in our schedule, Colorado and Oklahoma State. I think if we see K-State perform the way they did, at least if they could take what they've done and then build upon it from here on out, I think that we could be a team that can actually punch up, in these power rankings. I'm not going to go ahead and say that we're back like fully. We've made a lot of mistakes. We still don't have our full team still all put out on the field. And so I definitely do believe that we're taking a step in the right direction, and there might be new life in this K-State team.
I'm glad that you said that, because I was thinking the whole time, like, okay, K-State's played 5 games and not a single one has everyone been available. And I was like, yeah, Jace Brown didn't play yesterday and Dylan Edwards didn't play before that. But you mentioned to me during the podcast last night, I was like, George Fitzpatrick at a starting tackle has not played either. And we know the K-State O-line has struggled for a vast majority of the season so far.
Right.
They get him back. They get Jace Brown back. I mean, K-State could be a different animal. And, it doesn't matter how you start. It matters how you finish. Thankfully, 2 out of the 3 losses that K-State has is in a non-conference. They looked good, not great against UCF. That first half was the best half K-State had played since a bowl game. They have a ways to go, especially on the back end defensively. I still have question marks on the safeties and corners, but, this is a good spot for them, moving up from 16 to 15, now to 12. Keep winning. You're going to keep moving up in our power rankings.
Yeah, absolutely. I think once K-State is able to build upon this, then I can confidently move them up on the power rankings because they do have talent. I mean, the talent is
They do.
unbelievable. It's just being able to put it all together. This win over UCF was definitely a confidence builder. I think it was an eye opener for a lot of these coaches that, oh, maybe this is how our team is supposed to play.
Yep,
The bye week couldn't have come at a better time,
I
in my
agree.
opinion.
And
So
they added in that package that you really liked with Blake Barnett, the backup quarterback, and
yeah,
that worked for a while. And now every team after UCF is going to have to prepare for that. And K-State can add other options off of that as well because he didn't throw the ball. I
yeah,
imagine with both quarterbacks in there, there's going to be a double pass happening at some point. So
yeah. Also, just want to touch on this really quick. You mentioned George Fitzpatrick being out. Not only is he the starting lineman, but Chris Kleiman has said in previous preseason conferences and or whatever, that not only is he the starting tackle, but he's the best offensive lineman that they have.
yeah,
And so that was obviously a big gut punch when he couldn't start the season and still hasn't played a single snap due to an injury that happened in the during like
July.
fall camp or something like that
Yep.
or whatever. But yeah, getting him back up to speed and getting him in there is going to be a huge difference maker. All right. Number 11, I have Arizona. Basically, due to the fact that they beat us, so we can't put them above Arizona. But I don't think they're a good team. So they're not going to be any higher than that.
Yeah, we had the same list so far. I second everything you said. I don't think they're that good of a team. They played okay on their first drive, a scripted drive against Iowa State, but after that, not so good. And they didn't look amazing against K-State either, especially on offense. K-State had every opportunity to win that game, and at that point, K-State was not playing very well. They're playing a lot better now. Unfortunately, you can't redo a game, but yet you have to have Arizona above K-State considering they beat them head to head. So I agree with them at number 11.
Right. I mean, the product that they're putting out is not anything to be overly excited about, but they did beat K-State. So until K-State starts beating more formidable teams, I can't put them any higher than Arizona. If they beat TCU and Baylor, they're definitely going above Arizona. So that's how that works. Number 10, I put KU. Which we had talked about this. We talked about this.
We did.
We knew that number 12 and 10 were going to be K-State and KU.
We know 1, 10, 12, and 16 are all going to be the same.
Yeah. Yikes. KU losing at home against a team that did not look good against the spread, did not look good as an underdog. Cincinnati as an underdog was 2-10 or whatever in Big 12 play. That's horrible as an underdog. So they were not, they had nothing really going for them. KU was looking hot, looking like they were going to take the game after their huge win over West Virginia. But man, KU's defense is extremely, extremely alarming. I mean, this was just like an old fashioned Big 12 shootout game. Just seemed like every time they got the ball, every time Cincinnati got the ball, they would score. And it was basically KU trying to play catch up with Cincinnati the entire game, it seemed like. And then, of course, whoever got the ball last ended the game, and that was Cincinnati. And it was just absolutely insane. What a crazy game. The offensive numbers in this game is absolutely mind-blowing. They had, what was it, over like 1,000 yards or
1,200 yards.
1,200 offensive yards collectively in one single game. That is unreal to me. But yeah, this was well deserved. I already made my apology, putting KU in top 5. They came back down to reality. They're right here, right underneath the gatekeepers.
Yeah, I mean, their offense looks great this year. The offense looks really, really, really good. In their 2 losses, they've scored like 34 and 31. I mean, that should be enough to win a football game. Unfortunately, you also have to play defense, and their defense is not very good at all. Shout out to Brennan Sorsby for making him look even worse. But like you said, man, 1,200 yards of total offense between them. I do think that Jalen Daniels is pretty darn good. I think he had 19 completions for 445 yards or something crazy like that. Yeah, KU is going to ruin somebody's title hopes. I do agree with that. I still, at this point, I would pick them to beat K-State for the first time in 17 years. Hopefully it doesn't happen, but I would pick them to beat K-State at this point. I think their offense is legit. I think their defense has a ways to go, but I think K-State does as well. Number 9, who you got?
I have Baylor at number 9.
This is insane. We did not talk about this outside of 4 teams. We had the same list so far.
Baylor did win against Oklahoma State, and honestly, it was a lot closer than it should have been. They are missing their head coach. Oklahoma State has been ran through by like all these other teams. Even Tulsa took them out. Baylor should have been winning this game by 50. The fact that they had it somewhat close and respectable by the half is pretty wild to me. There's a lot of people that had mentioned fired coach bump you get. I don't buy that for a second. OSU does not have the talent. They lost their starting quarterback in the first couple plays of the season. Baylor had everybody there. There's no excuse. Baylor should have been dominating this game start to finish. I have no idea why they weren't. Maybe they're overlooking them to get to K-State because they know K-State's coming into town. That could very well be the case.
Probably.
But Baylor, I don't know. I was expecting way more out of this team this season, and I have been let down a lot. I thought this was going to be the number 2 team in the league, and they have just looked very, very bad to my expectations. But it's not like they're the worst. I mean, I'm saying a lot of negativity. It's not like they're the worst.
No.
Sawyer Robertson is amazing. Just absolutely incredible quarterback, and their offense is deadly, and they make a lot of huge plays. And we're going to talk about the preview with Baylor and K-State later on in the week. But I got to give respect to this offense. I mean, much like KU, huge offense, really good passing game between both of these teams, but it's the defense, man. It's the defense. And for whatever reason, I don't know why Baylor just did not, I guess they just didn't respect Oklahoma State. I don't know what the deal was, but they should have beaten them way more than they did.
Copy and paste everything you said. I mean, Robertson had, I think, all 6 touchdowns yesterday, or not yesterday. It would have been Saturday. All 6 touchdowns on Saturday. I talked about it all off season that I thought their defense had a ways to go, and unfortunately, they have not. They've not broken through to get any better. Their defense is just not good. And honestly, Oklahoma State could have scored even more points. They dropped a couple interceptions. And I thought that OSU would play better because they just lost their coach, and they'd give them a fight. But Baylor, they are not as good as you thought they'd be in the offseason, like you said, man. I think you had them number 2 in a preseason power rankings. I was not bought in their defense, and unfortunately, their defense is why they are number 9, in my opinion. So
yeah, you had a really good call there preseason on their defense. When you watch their games at the end of the season, I understand it's a different team, but it just seemed like they retained a lot of players from last season, and they got some really good transfers in the transfer portal. And I thought, these guys are bought in to what Baylor is selling them. So I'm like, okay, they ended the season fantastically. They're going to start the season hot. They're probably going to be just even better this year, but it doesn't look like that. The chips are falling in that way. So anyway, I'm gonna start going first here. Since you did the bottom half, I'm gonna go first on the top half. How about that? Okay.
So that way everyone doesn't think I'm just copy and pasting what you said.
Yeah.
All right, my number 8. It has to be Cincinnati. I thought they looked pretty good against KU. They did put up a fight. They could have beaten Nebraska earlier this year. I think Brennan Sorsby is a serviceable quarterback. I don't think he's good enough to win a conference championship, but I think he's pretty decent. Their defense still has some question marks for me. But right now I would put them right in that 8th spot. I don't think they're going to finish any higher than 8th. In fact, I'd probably put a couple teams that are below them right now. I'd probably pick them to be above them at the end of the season. But right now, Cincinnati has done enough to be my number 8 team in the Big 12.
Yeah, I also have Cincinnati at number 8. Scott Satterfield, he's not like an amazing coach in my opinion. I've always been really critical of him for some reason. I don't know why. I just I don't think he's got what it takes. But hey, he's done enough to beat KU at home, and that was a big deal. I think it's because of his really bad record as an underdog. Just hasn't been able to get those wins that like last Saturday. But he finally pulled it. He pulled it off, and Cincinnati, like kind of everything you just said, not a world beater team, but definitely serviceable. And when everything clicks and the other team makes mistakes, it's almost like Cincinnati at this point, which is a perfect spot for them at number 8. They're kind of like a team that if everything goes right for them and they don't make any mistakes, and the other team makes more mistakes than them, they'll end up winning the game.
Yep, I agree.
So,
okay, my number 7, it has to be Houston. They had to go to overtime to win at Oregon State, who was 0-4 to start the season. They did not look very good to start the game, but they're still way ahead of schedule in terms of where I thought they'd be of Willie Fritz as a second-year head coach. Their quarterback is playing a lot better. Their defense is good. Did not play very good on Saturday. But I think they're a pretty darn good team. And I do actually think they're going to finish in the top half, if not the top 5 or 6. I think they're pretty darn good, honestly.
So we finally hit a point where we disagree.
Dude, I thought this would be the first time ever we had the same list. What do you got?
No. I put TCU down here at number 7. I know they lost a close game to Arizona State. But the difference between and I'll get to Houston for my reason, but TCU needed to win this away game. They were there, honestly. Arizona State, they always it's really Kenny Dillingham and him finding ways to win these very close games. And they're just scrappy teams, man. He's just a scrappy guy, and it's amazing to watch. But TCU definitely lost the game rather than, in my opinion, Arizona State winning the game. I think TCU definitely let off the gas there and made some mistakes towards the end of the game. Desert Devil, you were there. You got to witness gosh dang it, I've been saying Josh Hoover. Is it Jake or Josh? Dang it, I forgot his first name. But you got to see Josh Hoover's passing firsthand, and man, absolutely incredible passer. BS ASU took that game. Well, it's easy.
I'll talk about that when we get to ASU.
Right.
I have TCU number 6.
Okay, well, I just want to say, TCU needed to win that game. They didn't. I feel like the team that wanted it more got it. So that's where it's at for me.
I agree 100%. I watched that game. They were up 17-0, and then ASU woke up. TCU kind of played conservative. I think this was a game TCU really needed to win to show that they are.
Curious.
What's that?
I'm curious of the stats here. He said that Leavitt outplayed Hoover. I want to check out this box score here.
Okay, well, while you do that, I'll say this. I think TCU really needed to win this game to show that they are a Big 12 title contender. Every team they've beaten so far has been, turns out, not very good. Turns out they're not very good outside of, maybe SMU. They got some pretty good receivers, but this is a game that TCU really needed to win, especially when you're up 17-0. I was texting you throughout it. I watched almost the entire game. The last 3 minutes of that game, ASU took it from them. They did. They wanted it more, but
Yeah.
TCU also gave it away. I think both can be
Yep.
true.
2 interceptions by Hoover. He was 20 of 32, and he threw for about 240 yards. Levitt threw much more, almost 10 more throws, and he completed only 7 more passes. So I don't know what that comes out to in the ratio, but he also threw for 40 more yards, completing 2 touchdowns,
He
or
also ran a ball.
50 more yards.
He
So
also
it's
ran the ball.
pretty comparable in terms of ratio and like yards per throw. Yeah, the 2 interceptions are huge against Hoover. That is that's Arizona State's defense for you right there. I mean,
Yep.
definitely keeping them in the game. But yeah, like you said,
They did not look
coming
good
out-
early, though. Their defense looked pretty bad early. They couldn't stop the run. They couldn't stop the pass. But
right,
they figured it out. They figured it out.
right.
All right, who got number
So,
6?
Number 6, and this could be an overreaction. Not really an overreaction, but I'm being cautious with this pick. I'm putting Utah here. That they lost to Texas Tech. They played against a horrible West Virginia team. I don't want to overreact. We have West Virginia as the second worst team in the Big 12. They did have to travel for it, and so you might think like, well, hey, even this long travel time and having to play in Morgantown and dealing with all those adversities, that should bump them up a little bit. We'll see. I don't think Utah's going to stay here at number 6 for me. I want to leave them there because, after the loss to Texas Tech and the way that they lost, to a backup quarterback, and then I'm still not sold on what's his name, their quarterback. I know he's amazing.
Devin Dampier?
Yeah, Dampier. Yeah, I'm not sold on him. I
really.
I think he's amazing. I think when he's on, he's on. But I feel like if he goes against a team that actually has a defense, I think he's going to struggle, which they did against Texas Tech. So, watch them go against BYU's defense. Maybe watch them go against Houston's defense. I guarantee you Houston's not going to let Dampier run all over them. So, also, he's a runner, not much of a passer. He did do some work in the past game, but I'm just saying this might be an overreaction, or maybe, like I said, not an overreaction, but more of just like I'm cautiously bringing them back up the rankings as they get to play tougher opponents. If they let's say, for instance, they go against Oklahoma State next week and they beat them, maybe they go to 5. I mean, I'm not going to jump them up to 2 again because they beat these like low tier teams. So that's where I have them at.
I have them number 5. Copy and paste everything you said. I don't want to say anything more about them. They got beat by 24 at home, and then they look good against bad teams. I mean, every single team they play that they beat are bad teams. So yeah, exactly. I have a number 5. Copy.
Okay, so my number 5 is Houston. Okay, and here's the deal. They went to Oregon, and yeah, they went to Oregon State. They went to the state of Oregon and played Oregon State. That was their first technically away game. I mean, technically it wasn't their first away game. They played against Rice, but that was like 5 miles down the road. So their out of state away game, it was in Oregon and at Oregon State. And they looked like a team that was at their first away game. Okay. Like it wasn't all pretty. Other teams, yes, have put a beating on Oregon State. Houston didn't look as good as these other teams. But again, I want to emphasize every team has had, other than Texas Tech and Iowa State, well, actually, even Iowa State, every team except for Texas Tech has had a rough game. Okay. And most of the time, it's due to an away game. It's always something that has to do with an away game. Houston played their away game and they looked a little rough. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. They still went in and got the win. So
overtime.
In overtime, it was a rough win, but they got it. Okay. And that showed some grit. That showed some, getting through adversity. Maybe I'm just putting too much credit for that. Like, yeah, you'd love to see a team always blow out a bad team, but sometimes, for instance, like Baylor against Oklahoma State, like they should have blown them out. They didn't.
Yep.
So, but they still got the win. Same applies to Houston, only they're undefeated. So I gotta put them above Utah. Gotta put them above TCU. They're undefeated. Whether you like it or not, it's the facts. They're undefeated.
I get it. Okay. My number 4. It has to be Arizona State. And I watched almost that entire game on Friday. I was texting you about it. They're not the same team as they were last year. Offensively, defensively, everything. They're a good team. They've won some close games, but they've needed a lot of help to win those games. Let's talk about last week. They needed a 4th down call to extend their drive to get the game-winning field goal. Now, granted, their field goal kicker missed, 1 or 2 other ones, and they could have scored more touchdowns, but they did it. They needed a 4th down penalty to extend the drive to win that game. Friday, they played. Late arriving crowd, they still had the 3rd most fans of anyone, 53,774. But still, like, they needed multiple fourth downs in a row on the same drive just to tie the game, including a PI. It was a PI, and it was against Baylor as well, but they needed that call. And then they had a touchdown pass, beautiful ball, a double move to Jordan Tyson to tie the game. And then their defense gets a sack, forced fumble recovery. I don't know what Dillingham was doing there. Like, it seemed like he didn't know what he was doing in terms of clock management at the end there. But they kicked the game-winning field goal. They won 2 games in a row on a game-winning field goal in the last 2 minutes of the game. Then the defense got an interception in the game. So the last 2 minutes were absolutely nuts, but they won the games. But as of right now, I cannot put them any higher than 4. I don't think at this point in time, things could change. I don't see that they're good enough to win the Big 12 for the 2nd straight year. They're good. They're not as good as they were last year.
Well, first of all, I thought you said you were sexting me about the game.
Sorry, I have a lisp, Kenny.
You do not have a lisp.
I do.
I just heard you wrong. Yeah, the disagreements continue, man. I gotta put BYU here. Basically, and I'll talk about Arizona State in a little bit, but BYU was struggling against a Colorado team early on. Now they did come around and figure it out, but their offense, I feel like, is going to be an issue against teams that are better in the power rankings. Who do they have next? Let me look at their schedule really quick. I look at
home game, they should win by a lot. I know that.
Well, you say that, but who are they playing?
Let me look. Hold on.
They're playing. Oh my gosh, they're playing West Virginia.
Yeah.
Dude, look at this schedule, man. West Virginia, Arizona, and then Utah, then Iowa State, then Texas Tech, then TCU. Okay, so we're not going to know. I don't think we're going to really know the real strength of BYU until the Holy War.
I don't think their offense is very good.
No, it's not. And that's the problem. That's my whole point in putting them at number 4. Their defense is fantastic, and they still haven't lost yet. So you have to give that some respect here. Again, it's Houston and BYU haven't lost, and their defense is spot on. You got to give credit where credit's due, but both of these teams' offenses, I don't know if it's ever going to. The other shoe is going to drop eventually, and their offense is not going to be able to keep up. And when they play against Texas Tech, when they play against Utah, I am worried. When they play against Iowa State, I am worried that this BYU team is not going to be able to get it down the field because they're struggling to get it down the field. Their defense even struggled a little bit at the beginning of Colorado. And Colorado is a team that has a very, very soft offensive line. I can't believe BYU did not get that, shut that down early. But again, things happen, weird things happen in college football. But for me, if I had to choose between BYU and Arizona State's my third, so you can put that on there. I believe Arizona State would grind out the win over BYU currently right now.
Really, because they needed, like I said, multiple penalties on fourth down.
You're basically
Baylor
asking me.
TCU.
You're asking me to pick between Sam Levitt and Baron Bachmeier.
Yeah. Well, okay. Here's what I want to say. I have KU. Sorry, not KU. BYU. Number 3. Not KU. Definitely not KU. I have BYU number 3 simply because they're undefeated. Do I think Arizona State would beat BYU head to head? I do. But because Arizona State has a loss, considering they needed, like I said, multiple fourth downs and penalties to win 2 games in a row by a field goal against teams that I think they're way better than that.
TCU's not. I mean, they're not.
TCU's good, but they're not as good as I thought Arizona State was going to be, right? Mm-hmm. And Baylor's not good at all.
I mean, I picked TCU to win, and they almost did.
You did. You look kind of dumb for picking TCU to win that game.
Oh, okay. I look dumb.
But BYU
after you're like literally putting.
I know I picked Utah to lose, and they won 48-14.
You're like, I look like an idiot for picking TCU, and you're like over here saying, well, Arizona State needed this, and this to happen for them to win. It's like,
that's true. That's true. That is true. And I did pick Utah to lose, and they won by 5 touchdowns. So totally get that. But yeah, BYU, they're undefeated. They look good right now. Question marks on offense. I think they got to figure out better and more unique ways to get the ball to Chase Roberts, Parker Kingston, and LJ and their tight ends, because Bachmeier is just not. I mean, unless they get man-to-man coverage, I don't see that he's going to be able to get them the ball consistently enough. I think their quarterback is holding them back big time.
Yeah,
but I got him number 3.
It's difficult right because it's difficult because with a true freshman, you kind of don't know like what's going to happen, but you're always worried as a fan. I would be worried as a fan to know when the other shoe is going to drop.
Yep.
They've been able to eke out these wins, and it's kind of like not exactly like it doesn't feel the same as last year where BYU just felt like they had the magic.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like they're just barely getting these wins out.
They are them and Arizona State, honestly.
Right.
I don't think Arizona State has played one great half of football yet.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I don't think they played one great half of football yet. And I think their ceiling is pretty high. They just haven't reached it yet. They're not the team they were last year, but they could be. They could be.
There's a reason for that. I mean, they're missing a huge piece called Cam Scadaboo, which by the way, his videos are absolutely hilarious. It is like one of my favorite things to watch is the content. The Cam Scadaboo content is amazing.
Doing backflips after touchdowns. That's crazy.
But hey, look, I mean, we definitely have, obviously process of elimination. We've got Iowa State here at number 2. Yep.
I think they're good, not great. Honestly, I think they're good, not great. They're playing how we hoped K-State would. They're undefeated. They're 5-0.
It just looks like they're just getting the job done.
They're just getting the job done. They're solid, man. Their defense is good. They've only really played like one or two close games. They've only looked bad in one game. They could have beaten K-State by way more than they did, but they didn't. Iowa State beat the crap out of Arizona, 39-14.
Yeah.
They're good. They're really good. And right now I would pick them and Texas Tech to be in Arlington. Obviously. What's
amazing is that Noah Fafita had more yards thrown. Of course, he threw the ball 28 more times than Rocco Becht, but
Becht is a dog, dude. He's a dog.
Yeah. and Rocco Beck threw an interception. Noah Fifita threw 2 interceptions. But he was 32 of 48. Rocco Beck was 14 of 20. So the story wasn't about Arizona's passing game. It was all about their rushing game, which, I mean, Carson Hansen, 19 carries for 63 yards is not the greatest. I mean, that's 3 yards a carry.
No.
Abu Sama, 12 for 26. Connor Mulberry.
They just get it done, man. They just get it done.
It just looks like they're just a solid team. I mean,
not super impressive, but they get the job done.
I mean, 39 points is pretty amazing. They started off with, did they do a 2-point conversion? Because they did. They did. Okay. 2-point conversion, wild. And then they went 14 in the second quarter, 14 in the third quarter, and they kicked the field goal for the final quarter of the game. Yeah. I mean,
and that wideout looked beautiful. Shout out to Iowa State for being the number 1 team in terms of attendance this past week. 61,500.
Wow. In terms of the Big 12?
Yeah, in the Big 12.
Yeah. I mean, that's and doing the whiteout, you know.
It looked good.
It's pretty good. Well, I mean, hey, other than a mishmash of teams there between 7-3, I mean, it's pretty dang close.
I mean, we're only off by, outside of Houston, we're only off by 1 on everything else.
Yeah, I'm giving too much credit to Houston's undefeated record, but I feel like it's deserved. You're undefeated. You should be higher up on no matter what it looks like.
Arizona State, Iowa State both should be top 10 or 12, in my opinion. No, sorry. Texas Tech and Iowa State. Sorry.
Oh yeah, we haven't really talked about Texas Tech too much.
No, we have not.
Threw them in there.
I mean, they had a bye week.
Number 1 team, hands down. Just looked head and shoulders better than
everyone,
than Utah, in which Utah was, you know, just incredible. Just watching them go in to Salt Lake and just put a beating on Utah. It's just wild to see that. I did not expect that. I thought it was going to be much closer. I thought it'd be a low scoring game, and Texas Tech shut the door on that. And it's weird that it came off of the back of a backup quarterback of all things to happen.
Tom Brady.
You know, what's amazing is the best thing that could have happened for Texas Tech, and I'm putting on my Texas, you know, the Red Raiders hat right now. If I was a coach, I wish I didn't have a bye week, because then we could have used that as an excuse to play the backup quarterback for an entire game.
Right.
But now that you had the bye week, you know, you have him coming. Brandon Morton's coming back, and
I mean,
you had the whole week to rest, and they're going to go with experience over ceiling. You know what I mean? Which I would do that too. I mean, like, I would always go with experience over a high ceiling, always.
But now they know if Morton's not playing good, they can throw someone else in there, and he might be playing a little bit better. They got a solid backup that could be even better. So they got some depth there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think.
I mean, it's definitely a problem that nobody is upset to have if you have that problem.
No, no.
It's definitely a good problem to have. But I just, what is this chat talking about? It is throwing me off right now.
They're talking about Iowa State's food at their stadium. They got honey buns and vending machines. Have been sitting outside all day. They're saying now they have yogurt in their vending machines at their football games. Top shelf. What's it's not to like about Iowa State? Yeah, Texas Tech is the class of the conference right now. Could change. Things could change, but Taco Tech.
Anything could happen. You know, we just saw some of the craziest games take place and the craziest results take place. But I think in terms of the Big 12, I think this was a step back in the right direction for a lot of teams.
I agree.
Utah coming back and winning, Cincinnati throwing their hat in the ring, K-State coming back and winning after a disappointing first few weeks. It just seemed like a lot of teams, Arizona State, grinding out a win at home, a definite needed to win that game. That's a big game to win. TCU is a very good team to beat. Just business as usual for Iowa State. It just seems like a lot of things are kind of setting up to where it's kind of normalizing is what I'm getting at.
And here's what I want to say.
This week was a normalizing week.
Yeah, it was. But a lot of these teams need to continue taking that next step, right? Like K-State's playing at Baylor next week. You got Texas Tech going to Houston next week. You got Iowa State playing at Cincinnati. You know who's favored in that game, Kenny? Who do you think is favored? Cincinnati or Iowa State?
I would say Iowa State.
You would be incorrect.
How is Cincinnati favorited?
They are favorited by
they're not even
one
ranked.
and a half. They're favorited by 1.5 points.
They're not even ranked.
I'm just telling you.
Arizona State
I'm just
ranked?
telling you. Cincinnati is favored to beat Iowa State this week by 1.5 points.
That is absurd. I don't even understand. What do
KU,
they know that
KU's going to UCF. That's a must win if you're the Jayhawks. I mean, Colorado going to TCU. I mean, TCU needs to show that they're not as bad as they looked at last couple minutes. And Colorado, they need to show that they're not one of the 4 worst teams in the Big 12. I mean, it's another big week coming up in the Big 12. We'll talk about more later this week.
Obviously, we'll be predicting these games later on, but and when just covering the last bit of this, covering what happened this last week. Again, the teams that in the preseason that you thought would win these games did win these games. Apart from Cincinnati, that was a huge game for them. I did not see that coming, but other than that, basically every team that won, if you were to ask me who's going to win these games, and I think we have a video out for that for this week specifically, I bet you we had every single team apart from Cincinnati beating KU. The ones that won, we had them selected to win. So there you have it. I mean, it was a get right week for the Big 12 as a whole, and it was good to see. It was really, really good to see. It could have been worse. It could have been chaos, which sometimes chaos is fun and everything, but to find a little bit of normalcy is good too.
I agree, and that's our Big 12 Power Rankings post Week 5. We'll continue doing this every single week, though. It'll go back to normal next week, honestly, and we'll have our picks for this week for Week 6 coming up, and then our K-State Baylor preview. I might even throw another video out there because I want to make a rant about something going on with K-State that deserves more attention. But Kenny, anything else before we get out of here?
No, I mean, we had half of the Big 12, more than half of the Big 12 in our power rankings accurate. Mm-hmm. It was close, man. We had it close, but we don't live in a perfect world.
Oh, is this my apology where you say that I had a better list last week?
you had I can't even remember what your list was. I'd have to look back.
I didn't have KU in the top 5. I know that.
Yeah, apart from that one selection, you had a better list if that's what we're grading, where we had KU at. Of course, yes, as a K-State fan, it hurt me to put them up that high, and it feels so much better to kick them down 5 slots. It's like I put them that high just so that I could kick them down.
Boom.
Number 10, the -5 with the red 5 and the arrow down.
You'd rather kick them down 15 stairs instead of 5 stairs.
What?
You'd rather kick him down 15 stairs instead of 5 stairs, right?
Exactly, Steve. That was the whole point. That was the whole point of me doing that.
All right. Well, with that, we're gonna get out of here. Kenny, what do we say here? What do we do?
Oh yeah, you guys do go ahead and do the thing before we get out of here. If you want to keep, make sure you don't miss us when we go live, and go Big 12 and go Cats.
Go Cats, baby.